staying with us. The Nigerian Customs Service has warned smugglers to stop killing the operators in the country. Also on customs reports, Edo Delta Command speaks on revenue generation of the command the last 6 months. Plus, more reports. I am Igiseme Itinye. Stay tuned. The Borno State Governor visited the Acting Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service in his office recently in Abuja. The governor pledged to take support for the customs.
Efforts of Nigerian customs in uplifting the standard of living of the displaced communities in Borno State and indeed other parts of the northeastern Nigeria. Borno State government and indeed Yobe, Adama and some other states are receiving food and non-food items from the Nigerian Customs Service for the last decade. And this has really gone well in changing the narratives. The insurgency has triggered acute humanitarian and post-displacement crisis with devastating social and economic impact on our population, further deepening fragility and poverty in the northeast sub-region. Right now, we have about 1.5 million displaced population in Borno State, despite our efforts in resettling them. We still have a lot to do, and therefore I'm here once again to solicit for your support for the continuation of the distribution of food and non-food items from the Nigerian Customs Service to the good people of Borno State, especially the vulnerable ones.
While the Acting Controller of Customs has this to say at the end of the meeting.
I have been involved in this humanitarian assignments in the northeast, particularly in Borno State, where we had very, very good reception by your predecessor in office. And we'll be willing to work with you. We'll be willing to make interventions that would help you address the problem of the humanitarian problem, particularly those that has to do with providing food and other strategic materials to our citizens who are victims of terrorism happening there.
The Nigerian Customs Service has warned smugglers to disease from killing or attacking members of the customs along the nation's borderline. The warning was handed down by the Controller General of Customs in Abuja by the death of 2 customs officers in the northern axis of the country. The controller in charge of KB Area Command has this to say the death of his men.
However, as of now, investigation has not really proved whether they are bandits or smugglers. But what is clear, that they killed our men. And the whole idea was to dampen our spirits. But I want to assure them that they will never dampen the spirit of this command. We have been assigned to this job. Even before we took up these jobs, they told us what we should expect, that we should give our whole for the interest of the state. If possible, paying the supreme sacrifice. The other time, almost more than 14 soldiers were killed in Niger. They are human beings like us. Therefore, from time to time, we normally have this collateral damage. Nobody prays for it, but once in a while, it comes. So my job since this happened was to console my officers and to give them moral courage to continue to do the job. The important thing is that the management and the nation appreciates what they are doing. They appreciate what they are doing. All over the news, I have been getting letters of commendation, words of commendation, thanking us for what we are doing. Because the fight we are fighting in KB is not only our fight.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Customs Area Controller in Area 1 in Port Harcourt. Customs Area Controller in charge of Area 1 Command said, despite the challenges in the maritime sector, the command was able to generate and collect 57 billion naira from the month of January to July 2023, compared to the corresponding period of 2022.
Some daunting challenges in the maritime sector. The command had been able to generate and collect the total sum of 57,405,834,420 naira and 68 kobo from January to July 2023. When compared to the corresponding period of 2022, which stood at 51,868,334,310 naira and 50 kobo. The significant differences of 5,500,037,500,110 naira was realized. The difference in these figures represent 10.6%, an increase in the revenue figures when compared with the corresponding period under review. Apart from the month of April, where the maritime sector experienced a global shipping downtime, which affected the revenue of the command's record, every other month has surpassed its corresponding months of the year 2022. The significant milestone was achieved in the month of March, where the sum of 11,675,918,637 naira and 90 kobo was realized, as against 8,310,978,933 naira and 69 kobo, March 2022. This feat could not have been achieved without painstaking engaging with our critical stakeholders through several forms of sensitization programs and other forms of training, particularly on issues of non-conformity with statutory clearance procedures.
On the issue of anti-smuggling activities, the command had put more emphasis on 100% physical examination of consignment coming into the country.
There's a problem within the stakeholders, either lack of knowledge, some of them very lazy, some of them they refuse, maybe high-headedness, that is, they refuse to go and find out how to make a proper declaration. As such, we say the first step, let's invite them. Let's start making a program that will sensitize them. So we started the seminars, the workshops, all the stakeholders, particularly the traders, because this is a situation whereby you're supposed to have your own DTI inside your office, whether the public DTI, whether your own DTI. What we know is you have to make your declaration at the trader zone. By the time you make your payment, it will not drop into custom.
Your students are going to tap from the experience and knowledge that we've gathered interacting with all these people that I've just mentioned. Everything Nigeria is found in SEME Area Command. You have all Nigerians from all Nigerian tribes here. We have all people that do all businesses here. And of course, you also have, besides the 5 proximate countries to Nigeria that do business with us in the sub-region, talking about Benin Republic, Togo, Ghana, Senegal, Ivory Coast. You also have Burkina Faso, Niger, Gambia, even Central African Republic, traversing this corridor for trade, tourism, and business, and even academics. Several Nigerian students cross this corridor to visit several institutions within the sub-region. So our job translates beyond customs to include general economic development and well-being of Nigeria and the sub-region in line with the ECOWAS protocol.
The management of the college, we deemed it fit to deliberately chose SEME Area Command as a more befitting area for our cadets to see how the border looks like. And with the slides that I've seen, it has given them a mental picture of what they've been seeing or heard in their various classrooms. Mental picture stays better in one's memory, and that is what we stand to achieve. And sir, your presentation has actually accommodated the objective of the excursion.
The Edo and Delta Command of Nigerian Customs Service has continued to engage importers and agents operating in the zone. The Edo Delta Customs Area Command has collected 30.6 billion naira revenue into the Federation account. At a press conference in Delta State, the controller also said that 138 million naira was recovered through issuance of demand notice.
Revenue generation, accounting for sale, suppression of smuggling, trade facilitation, and implementation of government policies are the statutory functions and obligations of the service. The command has never relented in its strive to make sure it hits and surpasses its targets against all odds. Low draft and near collapse of the channel, low trading flux, swings in transaction rates, and unstable economic environment. However, the command has been able to make outstanding revenue input into the Federation account within the period under review, that is January to August 2023. This was made possible through leakage prevention, zero tolerance, zero compromise for duty evasion, and due diligence in this period of low volume of trade influx into the port, as well as the cooperation of our stakeholders. Revenue generation. For the period covering January to August 2023, in spite of the obvious challenges recorded in trade supply chain, occasioned by lull in port activities, the Edo Delta Area Command was able to generate a total revenue of 30,638,773,795 naira 75 kobo, 30.6 billion naira, and remitted sale to the Federation and non-Federation accounts of the federal government. Additionally, excise duty also forms a very stable and very reliable part of our monthly annual revenue collection. The main areas of excise duty collection in the command are Guinness Nigerian PLC, Coca-Cola, and 7-Up Bottling Company, and had altogether accounted for a total of 4,507,700,028 naira only. That's 4.5 billion. Now, when we do a side-by-side revenue comparison between the corresponding period last year, we discover that as of last year, this same time, we had collected 28.2 billion. However, now we have an excess of 2.3 billion over and above what was collected.
According to him, the revenue collection was a result of the eagle eye of his officers operating in the state. On anti-smuggling, he said that the command is currently in the custody of seizures with duty paid value of 331 billion naira only. He said that the customs will continue to monitor the operations of importers operating in the zone.
We only have 480 declarations, out of which 30.6 billion naira was collected and remitted into the accounts of the federal government. This shows an increased collection of 8.02% over and above what was collected last year. Also, the command was able to raise 24 demand notices as compared to 8 demand notice which was raised as last year. The demand notice of 2023 is worth 138,587,468 naira no kobo. The above feat was realized because of our doggedness and determination to make a change against all odds, as earlier enumerated, and the enormous support which we have enjoyed from all of you, our stakeholders.
The ad hoc committee set up by the National Assembly to investigate the killing within the Nigerian border area governed by Nigerian Customs Service. The committee visited further operation units in Lagos. The head of the committee, a former retired Assistant Controller of Customs, and the serving senator and his members were shown around the warehouse by the acting controller in charge of FOU in Lagos. The committee members were shown the seized items at the warehouse, including seized rice intercepted from smugglers operating along the nation's border routes. The seized goods include imported rice, used vehicles used in smuggling items into the country. Also shown to them is fairly used vehicles seized from importers who refused to pay customs duty at the nation's seaport. The committee were told that the warehouses needed expansion and that the CG is already working on it. The committee leader speaks on their findings.
You will tell us what happened. Are they killing your people too? Are you doing it on self-defense? So that this record of killings here and there is becoming alarming, and the federal government will want to stop at it, to everything. So my colleagues, these are the custom officers. These are the corps that are giving orders to those ones you saw on the road and at the borders. And it's the control. This is the control room for all those people down to Ibadan, down to Oyo. And you have seen the one controlling the other one in Katsina and so on. So I have to leave this investigative activities to you while we arrive at a conclusive and better solution to the problem.
The acting controller said that FOU Zone A has not killed any smugglers. Instead, the smugglers are the one killing their men on duty. He speaks more.
There is no better way to appreciate your visit other than to assure you of our cooperation to succeed. Without mincing words, we are highly elated for this visit, considering the motive behind it. The relationship between the officers of this unit and border communities cannot be said to be cordial, understandably so, because of one of our core functions of fighting smuggling. The fight against smugglers and smuggling is never a cocktail party on volatile terrains where smuggling is considered a legitimate trade bequeathed to them by their forefathers. His other partner through Bristol, the same thing. Both of them were dumped inside water with their rifle, clearly tied to their neck, and they were dumped inside the water. The other one was killed at Owode while trying to escort soldiers to the base. They rounded him up at Owode roundabout and they macheted him to death. This other one, Omubuze, the decision was already taken on their way. The decision was taken without even firing a shot at the smugglers. On their way, they regrouped to block them. When they blocked them, they killed this officer just behind Senator Yagi's house, and they dumped him at the back inside the ditch. At Ilaro, at the back of Senator Yagi's house. I was the one who went there to recover his corpse. He was dumped there.
The Nigerian Customs Service, also in Tigan Island Customs Command, has intercepted 2 containers of drugs worth over 550 million naira at the port. The 2 containers were loaded with illicit drugs imported into the country from India.
As soon as the containers were discharged, we moved it to enforcement station. And immediately I ordered for the examination. Declared on the BOL, I've told you, this is consignment. They declared electronics, ceiling fans, and the rest, and graters. During examination, we found that they were pharmaceutical, unregistered, and probably prohibited. This is something that NAFDAC should have given a permit. But going by the way it was declared, they actually knew what they were doing. This is pure concealment. And under our laws, we don't allow such. So after examination, we decided to do a sting operation on the importers of this good. We arrested one of the suspects. Then we did a sting on the address, and we found the importer. He confessed to be the owner of the 2 containers. And he also sought that he would have to like to have a private discussion with the DC enforcement, GILU, as I stated, and H. Abubakar, the team lead of CIU. They told me, and I instructed that he should play along. So he told them he wanted his freedom and that the release of the containers, and offered a sum of 50 million. Money, we kept it in our safes, and this remains an exhibit. That shows that we in this command, we will not allow illicit and dangerous drugs to get into the country. These illicit and dangerous drugs has caused up a lot of problems, both health and security issues. So we played along and did a sting on them, and here we are today showcasing the $54,330, which is equivalent to 50 million. The command received a timely intelligence from the Command Custom Intelligence Unit on the suspected importation of illicit and dangerous drugs, that is, unregistered, regulated pharmaceutical products, concealed in 2x40 containers with bill of lading numbers 227578945 and 227898171. On arrival of the vessel in Tinkan Island Container Terminal, the containers number MRSU 592397/0 and MRKU 553432/1 were transferred immediately to the enforcement station for 100% physical examination and further investigation. The physical examination was conducted on both containers by enforcement officers, custom intelligence operatives, custom police, and examination officers of the terminal on Tuesday, 22nd August 2023 at about 14:00 hours, and Wednesday, 23rd August 2023 at about 13:00 hours respectively. The following were discovered. Container number MRSU 592397/0. The details on the bill of lading stated the items laden were 1,016 packages containing electrical goods, ceiling fan, 36 GW copper, and chili cutters. But after examination, the container was found to contain the following: 5 cartons of Tima King 120 tapentadol, which is tramadol, hydrochloride calcium capsule. Each carton contains 50 rolls. Each rolls contain 5 packets and each packet 200 tablets.
The VIM valuation really, since it was introduced, has been able to, when you look at it critically, it has been able to streamline the issue of clearance of vehicles from the port. Now, when the VIM valuation was introduced sometimes last year, the basis under which it was introduced was in line with the trade facilitation agreement, like I said earlier on, while we were having the stakeholders meeting today. It was introduced based on the 4 pillars of trade facilitation agreement, which are the transparency, we talk about harmonization, we talk about standardization and simplification of procedures. Now the VIM valuation has been able to standardize values within the command and across board. When you pick up vehicles, you now know precisely how and what to do on them. The only place we're having a bit of challenge is the issue of transparency. Transparency on the part of the declarant, which all of us know is a big challenge in our society. That aspect is supposed to give room for the smooth running of the VIM valuation. When you have a vehicle, you have to be transparent on the value, the transaction value of that vehicle. You need to tell customs, so you have to support your vehicle with transaction invoice, exactly how much you bought that vehicle. In that way, there is a column where you impute that value. And when it is accepted, it goes without any hitch. But most of them, they already know the base value of so many of these vehicles. Most of the declarants, they go for the least value on some of these vehicles that they know the system will accept, which is not really nice. But what we know is you need to put in your transaction value, so the transaction value will enable the system to get along with what you have presented. But in line, that is, it has to be in line with the valuation methods.
Just before I round up this week edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you reports where the Nigerian Customs Service impounded 2 containers of dangerous drugs imported from India into the country. For me, Igiseme, thanks for watching.